Manga-Waido.
My name is Mako. I'm 26 years old and single. I live with my parents and the three of us run a farm in the province. I really can't accept.
What are you saying? This is my way of thanking you for what you did.
Most of the people here are elderly, and they get really happy whenever I help them out with doing the groceries or with their household chores. They always thank me with vegetables and fruits, and we all get along like family. But that summer, there was a natural disaster that made all of the elderly people frown. It was a huge one, and even my grandmother, who was 80 years old, said that she had never seen something like this before. It was impossible to leave the house the day it hit. It was sunny the next day, so I went outside to take a look, and what I saw was something disastrous. The trees in our garden had snapped in two, and there was trash piled everywhere in mountains. The shed and the clothes drying platform collapsed and are also a mess. But we were one of the luckier ones. The roof of my nearby grandmother's house had flown away completely, and the windows of the house across the street from hers had shattered, littering glass everywhere. Thankfully, the people themselves were all right, but it looked like there was now a lot of cleaning up for us to do. Apparently, a water pipe had ruptured somewhere, and so we had no access to water. It was a nightmare having to clean up in such a situation. Luckily, a house that relied on a well for water shared their water with us, but it was difficult having to pull the water out from the well, and it was my job to drive around the truck full of water for the elderly people of the area. I need to stop by a gasoline stand after I'm done with this delivery, I thought, when a car I wasn't familiar with approached and people started pouring out of it. The TV crew entered people's private land without permission and started filming like everything belonged to them. They shoved cameras inside the shattered windows of people's houses without permission, and even started filming an elderly man and woman who were sitting down to take a rest up close.
This is Man TV. What sort of damages did you suffer?
Our roof started leaking and our vegetables were destroyed.
Did your windows shatter?
No, nothing like that.
All right, we're done with you. Hey, the old man over there! Are you the person whose roof got blown away? Tell me what happened!
Did he click his tongue at her right now? The old woman looked shocked. Even worse was...
Hey, there was a convenience store on our way here, right? Buy all the food that's left. Water and stuff to drink as well. Damn it. I wasn't told that water wasn't running here.
He's trying to buy all the food and water. I panicked and followed them, but some bread and candy were the only things that were left. We can get by with the stuff in our refrigerator and the water from the well for a few days, but we don't have the strength to cook our own food anymore. Buying all that food that can be eaten immediately like this is so trashy. I drove for a bit more and went to the gasoline stand near the station, and as I expected, there was a long line of cars. It can't be helped, I thought to myself, and got in the line. But then a car honked at me from behind and forcefully cut the line. I went home pissed at the TV crew, which is when I saw that next to the elderly people cleaning up the mess was... the TV crew relaxing and eating the food that they had bought from the convenience store. I decided to have a word with them. Why did you cut the line back there? Everyone else was lining up.
It's a race against the clock for us, because it's our duty to get as much information out to the public as we can. I wouldn't expect an outsider to understand, but speed is everything when it comes to news reports.
You bought all the food at the convenience store as well, right? You're causing everyone else trouble, so please stop. Oh, and stop interviewing the elderly without asking for their permission first. Everyone's exhausted from having to clean up, you know.
Huh? You're telling us what to do? Thanks to the news report we're gonna make, you guys are gonna receive donations and support, you know? We're doing this out of kindness. It hurts to hear you say stuff like that.
Kindness? But all you want is footage that will make an impact so more people will watch. I got even more pissed, but there was nothing I could do. Getting mad won't help with the cleaning either. Not only that, but he was right when he said that volunteers and donations would come thanks to their news report. I bit my tongue and continued working. A few hours later, I heard a loud voice shouting, "Hey, the roads are blocked off because of a landslide." And then the TV crew all just left and didn't return. What a disappointment, was all I could think to myself. Thankfully, a lot of student volunteers came since it was currently summer vacation, and the cleaning started going a lot faster. And in a month, we all managed to return to our normal lives. After that, I started having meetings with the elderly in the region, showing them the hazard map of the region and making sure that they're better prepared for a natural disaster in the future. That's how things went for me every day. But 2 years later, I heard a large thud and then the ground started shaking, causing the stuff that was on the shelves to fall down on us. It's an earthquake! Thankfully, the shaking stopped immediately, and all that happened was that some of the stuff that was on the walls fell. My mother and father were all right too. But a few minutes later, an ominous rumbling began, and after a loud boom, it started shaking again. I went outside and saw that there was a landslide. We contacted the fire department immediately and waited for aid. Thankfully, my grandmother, who lived in the mountains, was at a senior daycare at the time of the earthquake and was safe. The other elderly people who were in their houses were also safe, as they lived away from the mountains. I'm so glad, I thought to myself, after finding out that everyone was all right. And then...
Hello! We're here for some more interviews!
What? It's those guys! The people from the TV crew who came 2 years earlier had returned. This time, I won't let you guys insult the elderly like you did last time. I prepared myself and greeted the TV crew with a serious face. But this time, the people from the TV crew didn't start going around like they owned everything. Not only that, but as soon as they saw me, they lowered their heads and...
We're sorry that we were so rude the last time we were here. Is everyone alright? Do you have supplies? We bought food and water from the convenience stores near our office before we came here. You can have it if you like.
Oh, everyone is all right. We're currently in the process of sending the elderly to the evacuation site.
Use our car if you want. We'll get them there for you.
What? I was so surprised at how much they had changed that I couldn't even say anything. Of course, some of the TV crew were still filming the aftermaths of the earthquake, but...
Come, get in the car!
But the others were just doing everything they can to help us, and were no longer acting as selfish as they had before. It looks like the people from the TV crew noticed how I was so surprised. They started explaining to me what happened, as if they felt truly remorseful.
During last year's flood, my parents' house and some of our crew members' houses had sunk with water. I got mad at the TV crew who came to interview the people in the area, even though we had the same jobs. Cut it out! They entered houses that had been abandoned without permission and used their electricity. There was even an idiot who stole emergency food. But when I thought about it, I remembered that we had done something similar ourselves a year earlier. We began to regret our actions at the time. We're really sorry.
To be honest, I'm not sure whether noticing how you were being so heartless only after having something similar done to yourself is something to praise, but it was better than nothing. After that, the people from the crew split into 2 groups, those that would make the news report and those that would help with the disaster. They worked tirelessly, cleaning up the aftermath of the earthquake and driving the elderly people to the evacuation site. Thank you. You and your crew have been a real help.
It's my way of apologizing for 2 years earlier, although I know even this isn't enough.
No, don't say that. You're going to make a news report on this once you guys return, right? The last time, volunteers came after the news report, and thanks to the donations we received, we were able to repair the meeting hall. We're counting on you this time as well, all right? I said to the crew, and they all started smiling. They thanked me several times and said, "Hang in there," before getting into their car and going home. I saw the news report they made, and I have to say that it was a very honest one. They didn't edit the interviews they did of the people here to fit their own needs, which made me happy to see. Maybe it was because this time they reported on the entirety of the disaster, but we received even more volunteers than last time and were able to finish cleaning up much more quickly than we had expected. After the incident with the typhoon, I lost all trust in mass communication, but I'm glad to have found out that there are people that can be trusted as well. Let's continue doing what we can for the world, all right?